coffee with any milk today. I'm Wesley West. I'm a sculptor and model making for advertising, and here I am sitting outside my wonderful wooden house which we built 30 years ago, and I am sitting swinging on my man swing. If you look up you get a very nice view. As you can probably tell, I am quite mad. Because I was in the Navy, so people tend to buy me little things, so I never throw anything away, I just keep it all. I've always wanted to be in the creative world, but I had a kind of odd start really. When my father died when I was 8, and we lived in South London, and I kind of went astray a bit, so I ended up joining the Royal Navy when I was 13. As a boy seaman, and then I joined the Real Royal Navy 2 years later in 1965. I served in the Navy for 8 years. I came out, bummed around a bit, got a few jobs. Then I worked at Lloyd's Bank as a trainee bank manager for 5 years in Portsmouth, and then I went to Portsmouth Art School. I decided to get out of it and do what I've always wanted to do. So I went to art school in 1976 and never really looked back. I did a degree in ceramics in Bath Academy of Art. Then I came back to Cambridge and was head of ceramics at the Cambridge Art School, where I used to make teapots. And then my teapots then were photographed by a photographer who was an advertising photographer. And from that, I started to make models for advertising, and that was 35 years ago. And I've been doing that ever since, really. It's just been, I feel very privileged. I kind of have fun every day. I don't really work for a living, I just enjoy it. Now, I'm a model maker for the advertising industry, and I'm a sculptor as well. Yeah, I get commissioned to make objects that are in people's imagination. So someone will ring me up, he will ask me to make something either for an advertisement or a still photograph, and then we have a meeting, we will discuss it, then I work out how it's all going to be done, and then I manufacture it and make it, take it down to London where it gets photographed. Sometimes the client likes to keep them, but mainly I get them back, yes, and hence the house is full of dead models, as they say. Yeah, models that have been used before. Hello. Yes, lots of people. I kind of started when I first went to art school in Portsmouth. I can remember going down to the ceramics department where there were 2 guys working down there. One guy called Blake, another guy called Ed. And I think that was my first taste of inspirational people. And I know that's why I did ceramics, because they inspired me so much and I wanted to be like them that I chose to do ceramics with what they were teaching. But throughout my kind of career there's been people that have inspired me a lot. Not necessarily always famous people, but people that I admire, that are getting on, friends of mine that have done really well. But I suppose the classic people are, I know it's a bit of a cliche, but Picasso I always admired, because he always did something different. And I always take his kind of phrase as kind of read, where he always wanted his next piece of work to be a progression on the last piece of work. And he was such a, I think, one of the only artists that was a real genius, really. I think he was the ultimate genius. I think the most influenced person was a guy called Tangley, who was a sculptor, and he used to make things that used to self-destruct. And I always thought he was pretty great, really, because he would make things and sell them to the American government, but they would only last 3 weeks, and they would kind of blow up, or they would collapse, and so I always admired that, really. And he used wonderful materials and made very musical things as well. Currently I'm working on about 3 things, really. My kind of advertising work, we're designing and making 2 pieces for Somerset House ice skating. We're turning the marquee ends to make them look like they've been made out of ice. Last year I made a scarecrow for a lady, and she phoned me up about 4 weeks ago and said that she had a problem with her scarecrow. And I thought, oh no, kind of one of the legs has fallen off, or you know, the head's fallen off. And she said, I think he's lonely. So I said, okay, I would like to commission you to make a partner for him. So I am now making a female scarecrow as a friend for the scarecrow. And the children of the family named him Sheldon, which I'd never heard of before, but apparently it's in a program called Game of Thrones, is it, or something? Yeah. And he has a girlfriend called Amy, apparently. So the female scarecrow is going to be Amy. But I don't know what Amy looks like, so I'm just going to make her out of scrap. But yeah, so we're not going to do them holding hands, which was the obvious thing. I'm actually going to make her, she's in her own little flower bed, but pointing towards him, so they can do the classic open arms running together. So it's the brief encounter down the railway platform. And also I'm at the moment working on making a pheasant out of scrap stuff for a lady for her husband for Christmas. So that's what I'm busy doing at the moment.